The mysterious origins of the new Flash were expanded this week with the release of Absolute Flash number 8. If you haven't been keeping up with this bold new take on the Scarlet Speedster, then give me a minute or two and I'll bring you up to speed. In the Absolute universe, the Flash is lonely teenager Wally West. He grew up travelling from state to state thanks to his father, Colonel Rudy West's position in the army. His mother passed away when he was young, and that has left Wally feeling isolated. His father is currently head of security at Fort Fox, a secret government facility where doctors Barry Allen and Eleanor Thorne are creating super-powered weapons. And this is how Wally gets his powers, accidentally interrupting Barry's experiment. Wally's speed powers altered his perception of time, allowing him to experience the past again without being able to alter it, and he also got glimpses of potential futures, one where he's a beloved hero, another where he's a hideous beast. Saying that this freaked him out would be an understatement, and he fled the base, dragging Barry Allen with him and seemingly killing him. From there, Colonel West sent his top team after Wally, the Rogues, a group of disgraced soldiers who were experimented on and given powerful weapons, which sounds like a terrible idea when I say it like that. They, along with a little psychic green monkey Grodd, tried to capture Wally, but he was too powerful. What's more, Grodd felt kinship with Wally, and the two immediately became best friends. So, Wally went on the run with his new friend, and along the way he encountered other superpowered beings that had escaped from Fort Fox. First it was Heatwave, in this universe a hideous magma beast, and in the last issue the Weather Wizard. Wally was able to drain Heatwave's powers, returning him to normal, and he just punched out the Weather Wizard after absorbing one of his lightning bolts. When the Rogues eventually caught up with Wally, they told him that they didn't want to take him back to Fort Fox. They wanted him to join their team. With their powers, they can do whatever they want. The issue ended on a cliffhanger, with readers uncertain what Wally's answer would be. If you wanted to find out, well, I'm afraid you're going to have to wait a little longer, because this issue is a flashback story that gives us some insight into what Barry Allen was working on. The issue starts an ambiguous amount of time ago with Barry Allen as a professor at Keystone University. He arrives late to his class, a nod to the mainline Barry Allen, who was always late for absolutely everything before he got his speed powers. And there's an unfamiliar face sitting at a desk. We know her to be Eleanor Thorne, and she was there to see what Barry was capable of. She visits him in his office afterwards and notes that she had read his research paper on quantum simulation and molecular electron transfer. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I understand what those things are. I am not a physicist, so I had to Google it. The quick summary is, in normal computers we use bits, ones and zeros to calculate things, but atoms, molecules and tiny particles don't follow normal logic. They follow quantum rules, where things can be in two states at once or connected in spooky ways, as Einstein put it. So, scientists build quantum simulators, special machines or setups that act like quantum systems we want to study. Basically, their simulators are weird things that they use to study weird things. No, that doesn't make an awful lot of sense to me either. Molecular electron transfer, meanwhile, describes how electrons move between molecules, powering life and technology. And how are these two things connected? Well, that's the problem Barry faced when his funding was cut, hence why he's now a teacher. But in theory, a quantum simulator can mimic how electrons behave during transfer between molecules, and the scientists can watch them and see how they behave. And that's exactly what Dr. Thorne is interested in. She comes to Barry with an offer. If he gives her 24 hours, she will persuade him to drop his humdrum academic life and join her on a very well-funded and exciting research project. You see, Dr. Thorne was the granddaughter of an eminent scientist who wound up being forgotten because of his work pushing the boundaries of science. Dr. Eobard Thorne, a name very familiar to fans of the mainline universe I'm sure, had discovered a dimension of pure living energy, and he was desperate to make contact. So desperate that he used unconventional methods. When the military learned of this, they were prepared to pull his funding, but before they could do so, Thorne broke through to the other side. His military contact, Captain J. Garrick, tried to put a stop to the experiment and was flung into the energy field for his trouble. He became a being of pure energy, or at least that's what it looked like, before he exploded and Dr. Thorne vanished. Now, his granddaughter wants to pick up where he left off, but she needs Barry's help. She has access to his old notebooks, but is struggling to make any real progress. So it's a good thing she went to Barry, given that he immediately notices a flaw in one of her calculations and begins correcting it. And the name of the project is pretty significant for fans of The Flash too, I think. Blue Trinity. I wouldn't blame you if you didn't get the reference. I certainly didn't when the name was mentioned at the end of the first issue. The Blue Trinity were a team of Soviet speedsters that were rivals to the Flash in the mainline universe, basically a Russian experiment to create speedsters of their own. I'm not sure that this is the primary objective of the absolute Blue Trinity, but that remains to be seen, I guess. After 2 years of work, Fort Fox is up and running and Barry is introduced to Colonel West, the head of security for their new military division. Barry is unimpressed though. He isn't all that interested in making weapons. He's more interested in the science and discovery. Making weapons for the army keeps the lights on, but Barry doesn't like it. He has crafted protective gear for a manned mission to the other dimension, and wouldn't you know it, it's the Flash costume. But Barry isn't going to be participating. He is the head scientist. He's too valuable to risk by sending him to some unknown dimension where anything could happen to him. Instead, he has to stand on the sidelines and watch others boldly go where no one has gone before, and he is clearly resentful. In the other dimension, the ground team made a shocking discovery. They were not the first to discover it. The alien vessel from earlier issues came from here. We have no idea who the aliens are still, but at least we know where they were found. This discovery makes Barry all the more desperate to see the other dimension, but Thorne forbids it, much to his frustration. As Barry stands alone in the lab, a mysterious voice calls out his name, and he can barely believe his eyes. The mysterious voice belongs to himself, as a ghostly apparition wearing the protective gear. And he tells himself that he needs to stop what he's doing. Wally needs to be the one. This potentially reframes the experiment that gave Wally his power. Based on Barry's reaction, it seemed like Wally had stumbled in accidentally, but it's starting to look like it was planned. That also makes me wonder just how dead Barry Allen is. This isn't the first time that a ghostly version of Barry Allen has gone to the past to issue a warning. During Crisis on Infinite Earths, Barry sacrificed himself to save reality by running as fast as he could. His physical body broke down, turning to dust, but as a being of energy, he went back in time and saw his friends. Eventually, he was able to return from this state, which also makes me think that the not-so-good Dr. Allen may not be as dead as Wally first thought. Absolute Flash number 8 is available now from all good comic shops. If you are based in the UK and don't have a comic shop near you, then you might want to use my affiliate link with the UK's biggest comic book retailer, Forbidden Planet. I have included a link in this video's description. Alternatively, if the idea of hoarding a collection of comic books fills you with dread, I saw a great deal on the original Superman and Spider-Man crossovers and didn't say no. Oh no! You may want to try getting a digital copy of the issue from Amazon. I also have an affiliate link with them, which you could use to help my channel out. This is also included in the video's description. To those that have read this issue, what did you think? Barry Allen had presented himself as a friend to young Wally back in the first issue. I noted at the time that it seemed a bit odd, but maybe I was influenced by Colonel West's reaction with him telling Barry to stay away from the boy. That kind of set off my stranger danger senses, but I guess the ending of this issue suggests that Barry was just following the advice of his future self. Was it for something nefarious? You know what, I really don't know. Speaking of future Barry, does that last page reveal the identity of the mysterious voice in the other dimension? When Wally heard the voice after absorbing Heatwave, I originally thought it could be Darkseid speaking to Wally from the future. But is it really Barry speaking from beyond the grave? Or could it be someone else? Jay Garrick, perhaps? Ooh, what about Eobard Thawne? And finally, the most important question of all. Just how did they get that alien craft out of the alternate dimension? Did they fly it out? Did they get a big crane and drag it through the portal? The people must be told. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Next time. I'll be back next week when it'll be time to check in with Diana after she escaped the horrors of the maze beneath Area 41. This issue promises to reveal the hidden truth of the Amazons, and I cannot wait to hear it. Hope to see you then.